following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cowboys Break. Today, our cast looks a little different. We got Isaiah Stanback and the one and only Darren Woodson, and of course, Nick Eatman here. But how are you guys doing today?
We're good. Great.
Got a little bit of change here coming back from Boston. I think every flight from that area has been delayed or canceled or whatever. So Dave couldn't make it. Derek has some other things to attend. So this is a week we're going to shake it up anyways. We just got a little head start to it.
We'll miss them on the show, and maybe.
I mean, I just tweeted out.
Right.
I was like, hey, everybody wants continuity. You want your group, but if you can't get the regular guys in. Let's get a couple of ballers in here.
We'll be subs. That's good.
Why are you looking at me like
I'm
that?
just looking at you, man. So I'm just figuring out where I fall in line here. Your boys weren't here, so you were just like grabbing anybody off the street. So I'm the dude off the street.
Listen,
basically.
This is where you fall in line. We have an option to pick any photo in the history of the Dallas Cowboys to put on our wall. And what did we pick?
I don't want to hear
one. Darren Woodson.
I don't want to hear all that.
I stare
Isaiah,
at
good
you
seeing
the whole
bro.
time.
Good seeing you. I'm doing great.
That's where
Good.
you stand.
Yeah, okay.
Golly.
Anywho.
You realize he has kind of like a man crush on you.
I don't know. We're off and on now. We're off and on. Sometimes I feel that way, and then other times
There's no denial over
kicks
here.
me out.
All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. So, since there are many, many different aspects of the crazy game that we watched last night, Cowboys win overtime. Everyone saw that. Final score 35-29. Let's just start off with your takeaway of the game, just in general. Isaiah, go ahead. What was your main takeaway of this game?
My main takeaway is the fact that we know what the character of this team is. I think all the forms of adversity that they faced yesterday, in the forms of injury, in the forms of turnovers, the referees, everything that they had to overcome yesterday. I think you really have a great understanding of who these guys are when they're battle tested. We've had other games this year that we've had to go down to the wire, but this one right here, I think you have as a coach and as a fan and as an analyst, I think you feel pretty good about who you have in that locker room right now.
I would say, look, they don't win this game last year. They weren't built to win these type of games last year. This year round and watching this year's game, they have some dogs on this team. I mean, really do. I didn't hear CeeDee Lamb's name in the first half. Second half, he just turns it up. He takes it to the next level. Dak has so many weapons at his disposal. And we're seeing the maturation process of not only Dak, but the young guys that are on this football team. The Pollard's coming up, stepping up, making big plays when he has to.
Wilson.
CeeDee Lamb, Wilson. There's just so many guys that you have to cover. And as a defensive player, as I'm watching this offense, I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're Belichick, I'm taking Amari Cooper away. Maybe the first half, he didn't do much, but here comes CD, and then here comes Pollard. There's just and then Wilson. It's just so many guys that you have to Schultz. You got so many guys you have to deal with this offense. And this offense is only gonna get better. Get Lyle back. And they got some guys the offensive linemen who've played while through the injuries and all that. So
there's a guy
they're building
named
depth.
Too. There's a guy named
Gallup. We haven't talked about him. He's been on the field, but they just have so many weapons offensively that it's going to be hard to stop them if they can play within themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they said it best. I mean, I feel like when you play poorly, and still find a way to win, I mean, that's a sign of a good team. And it doesn't always happen that way. I mean, that team had no business playing with the Cowboys. And that quarterback, he's going to be good down the road, and I think he's in a good spot for it. But that day, Cowboys should have probably won it by 17, 21 points. Yeah. But they didn't. But they still, like you said, I don't think they win last year, a couple years ago. They just didn't feel like a vibe that they were going to win. But they figured it out, and you talk about a lot of depth. They've got all these guys. There's one spot that we don't really know if they've got any depth, and I hope we may have
worry
to
about
find
it,
out.
yeah.
You know, at quarterback, we don't really know where things stand as we're taping this show from the MRI. But I know there's a lot of breath being held over that side of the building.
Right.
You know, for Dak's calf
Well,
injury.
he was acting like it wasn't anything. I mean, of course, it's Dak. He's gonna walk out there and be like acting all good and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean,
They don't boot up any calf. They'll just say, "I will put a boot on you."
I mean, they want to take the stress off it. I mean, that's just precaution until they have a greater analysis of what's going on. But you know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, Gallup's out with a calf, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time we saw Gallup?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, you don't have to tell me
Yeah.
about
So-
calf injury.
So-
That makes it scary.
Yeah.
That makes it scary because you're not sure with the uncertainties.
There's about 3 or 4 different grades to
Yeah.
this,
Yes.
and
Well, you have a bye week, so that helps.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see. But going back to the game, you said it right, Nick. They made so many mistakes in this game. I mean, they made a ton of mistakes, and they made so many mistakes. I can't remember all.
Yeah, we don't
of
have that
them.
much time.
But they still found a way to win this game, and that's what good teams do.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a little bit of the Kansas City game earlier in that day against the Washington football team, and Kansas City made a ton of mistakes. I can't tell you. I mean, the interceptions, fumbles here and there, but they found a way, and then they put up 21 points just like that. And that's what you're seeing in this football team. A lot of mistakes where, my concern would be when you're playing a really good football team, you can't make those mistakes. You can't fumble the ball at the 1 yard line. You can't have 4th and 1 a number of times and not make it.
150 yards in penalties.
You got to get those 4th and 1.
I got to point to that. And it's not so much game related about when you're playing those good teams, but before I know you have to leave a little bit early before the show ends. I want to talk about that facing good teams. Maybe not right this second because we're still talking about the game.
Right.
But it's interesting when you look at it about playing good teams and who they're going to play the rest of the year. But going back to Dak, I think what I've said over and over, and I'll say it to you guys because you guys both played and you've been around a lot of teams. I think the difference of this team is the fact that they are the most unselfish team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They just do not care. Now, we'll see what happens when you lose a game, and we'll see if everyone is on the same page. But I think they will be.
Yeah.
And I think the unselfishness is amazing as far as Dak doesn't care who gets there. Cooper's not complaining about his catches. Just get the win, and it'll all shake out at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's culture. I talk about culture so much, and I think Dan Quinn had a big part in this. Obviously, Coach McCarthy and the guys that he's brought onto this, not only the staff but into this locker room. Culture is absolutely everything. I know you can speak to that as well. I've been in locker rooms,
good and bad,
good
right?
and bad. And sometimes we had amazing teams, and you went and got your butt knocked out the first round of the playoffs, and then I've been on other teams that obviously went all the way through. And the culture inside that locker room is the difference between making the playoffs and actually walking away with a ring.
I think, again, I start off on the show when we were talking earlier about the dogs, the amount of guys that they have that truly believe in self. Like, they have guys, of course.
Get some names here.
Like Randy Gregory is a dude, man.
Make a decision,
He's talking trash all game. I do not mind that, as long as you come and play. Like those are some of the things that were missing. I mean, a lot of guys were it was fake talking trash. No, these guys. Individually, you're starting to see this mentality of I'm the dude.
And
I am the dude, and truly believing that they are the dudes. I mean, number 11 is a dude.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't play that well yesterday, but he's a dude. Now he's going to make some things happen. Number 7 is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have and it's not just like I'm going to make a play here. No, I'm going to make a change that's going to be a game-changing play that's going to win. That's going to help us win the game.
It's almost like they got a tally board.
They do, man.
In the locker room, right? Like, who can make the next big play?
I got another one for you. 27, Jaron Kearse.
Oh yeah, played well,
I mean,
man.
that guy
has been playing extremely well.
And he's another one. I mean, him and I think everybody was fine. There was heat of the moment. It happens. But even on the sideline in the middle of the game, there were some guys going back and forth and upset about on defense playing, and and Parsons was in there, and Kearse was in there, and KZ was in there. I mean, those guys were and KZ's another guy. He's a smaller guy, but he's not afraid to mix it up in there. Now, he had a questionable play there at the end. That
It happens. It happens.
It didn't happen with you.
No, trust me, dog. It happens.
Just
does
flying
happen.
in there and
Yeah,
That
man,
wasn't
take a
just
bad
him.
angle.
That wasn't just
Yeah,
him.
No, I know.
Exactly.
I know.
That wasn't just him.
And hey, Trayvon took it. He said it's on me.
Yep.
It's on me 100%. He goes, I didn't go for the ball.
Well, it's the same. It's the same play he made last week, right? But
Yeah.
last week it was a pick because
Why
it was
didn't he go for
because Glennon threw a bad ball last week, right? And he got a pick, right? This time took the same angle,
Took a
better
bad
ball.
angle. Took a bad angle
It
this
did
time.
seem like
Yeah.
he kind of stopped, though.
Yeah, no, he tried to undercut that ball.
Tried to undercut it.
He tried to undercut it, and it cost him money. And look, the free safety should have made that play, hands down, because he's seeing, and it wasn't like the quarterback was looking off the free safety. That play should have been made by.
But that also lets you know where
they're.
they're at in their relationship too. They're still figuring each other out.
Yeah.
So as good as these guys are playing, they're still figuring each other out because they know Woody back there, and he knows he has a dog up there at corner. He's going to say, "I'm going to stay back because I know he's going to be aggressive, right? I'm going to let him go out there and take a shot at the play. And if worst case scenario happens and he doesn't get the ball, I'm going to be there to clean it
But
up."
let me say this to you. Situational football, it's the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. Like
Can't take that,
you live and die by the big play, and that's what Diggs has been doing. Like he's feast or famine at times. And yesterday it was just that. We just saw that at the end of the game. Situational football, end of the game, you don't go for that double move. He runs it out. Hey, let him have
Take
for
it.
Let him have that out. But you do not get beat on a double move at the end of the game.
Do you think the fact that you're getting a lot of interceptions and now your confidence has got to be through the roof? Do you think that you feel like he can just get every ball? Like he's jumping and getting,
And you know what I'm telling him? If I'm the coach, you know what I'm telling him? Go get it. Now, I'm not telling everybody that, but that dude is different.
But you just said don't.
No, don't do that. Like situation football.
Okay,
Just understand.
okay,
Like
got
he
it.
should. Just as a football player,
Awareness.
no. Look, man, we're up.
Yeah.
I can't give up a double. I just got an interception.
Yeah.
The out's
I
not
can't-
gonna kill me.
The out is not going to beat me, right? Let's give up the out. That's fine, but don't get beat in that point of the game. But there's going to be other parts of that game, first, second, third quarter, man, where you tell your dogs to go hunt. Go make those plays because you got certain guys that can do that. Randy Gregory can do some things freelancing. Diggs can probably freelance a little bit. Number 11 can probably freelance a little bit, but I'm not telling everybody to do so. I know who I got. I remember a guy, Deion Sanders, you just said, hey, man, go do you, bro. We'll see you after the game. Like, just go do you. And we'll deal with it after that. And that's what you're starting to have on this football team. You're getting guys that just aren't just consistent football players. You're getting dynamic players that are able to make plays for you.
Well, speaking of dynamic, I mean, earlier on you mentioned the 4th and 1. And that's something, play calling and the decision making of this coach and some of the things that sometimes it works into their advantage, but then some other times it just, and it's going to get criticized one way or another. It's going to get criticized. So I want to get your opinion about the play calling and how aggressive Mike McCarthy has been so far with this game. Something that we were asking for years with Jason Garrett, and now we're getting it. And then at the same time, you just can't please everyone.
That's right.
I wasn't a fan of the first quarter. that play call backed up on your side of the field against Belichick, against a team that you know that you need to get up on, because if he has a game close, he's just going to out physical you.
Yeah.
I know that for Belichick, those guys went 13 personnel for their whole first drive and scored.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing. 3 tight ends. Who does that? Right? So knowing that you're facing a team like that, I'm not a fan of Kellen Moore, and obviously we didn't convert on it, right? In that first quarter, so I'm not a fan of putting us in that situation right off the back in that kind of environment. But later on, in terms of the 4th and 1, third down was a touchdown, but it wasn't a touchdown. So now you go to 4th and 1. You understand from the fans' perspective, people might be asking, well, why did he jump over the pile? Coach just called a sneak, right? Yeah. Dak decided to jump over the pile, right? So that's a decision that's made by him. He just has to figure out how to hold on to the ball or go another way.
Yeah, I mean, the third down, and everybody on Twitter was like, "You're crazy! You're crazy! It's a touchdown." I'm like, I get it, but like where? I mean, yes, his body seems to be across, and I don't think he's holding the ball in his crotch. Okay, I don't think he's got it down there. I think he's got it up here, so that seems like a touchdown. Well, I don't think he does. I mean, but I don't know. He might.
Got it in his drawers.
He might have it there, but I mean, I'm assuming. If his ass is here, his body's here, the ball's got to be down here.
Yeah.
We didn't see it.
There's no way you're gonna get it. There's no camera angle that would have seen that. The only thing that you would have is some kind of way that the IT department puts a tracker in the ball. And
If only the NFL had enough money to put chips on these balls.
Then you got to start worrying about cheating. So I ain't gonna do that.
Speaking of the Patriots,
we'll leave that to you.
Well, I mean, it was funny before the game. It was a beautiful day out there.
Yeah,
which
it was.
You don't always say that in New England. It was a beautiful day, and then you look around, and then like right before kickoff, here's a couple of dark clouds coming in. I'm like, did Belichick order this up? Like, what's going on here?
Dial it up. Yeah. Look, man, I think there's been some times where I've questioned the play, not so much the play calling, but the managing of time of the play clock. And I've had some issues with McCarthy in that instance. I didn't have a problem with him going forward on 4th and 1. Not earlier in the game or later. I just there's a true belief. I think there's a belief in the system now, and I think he firmly believes in the players. Yeah, it's easy for me to second guess it, and after it happened, I was like, "What the hell? I can't believe it." You know what I mean? I was upset about it afterwards as being an armchair quarterback, but at the same time, I was like, "Look, man, this. We've asked for this. You just said it earlier. We've been asking for this."
Yeah.
For an aggressive play caller, an aggressive coach to go after it when it's 4th and inches or 4th and 1 or whatnot, even backed up. We've been asking for this, and now we got it. And now that we got it, there's still got your naysayers out there who are playing, we shouldn't have did, we can't do this and do that. But look, man, this is how they're built. It's just this. What you see now is what you're going to get the rest of this season.
And the thing about it is that I feel what I like about it is it doesn't feel like they make these decisions on 4th down. I said this a million times. I don't play pool very well, but if I did, the greatest pool players are the ones that play 2-3 shots ahead. You got to know what this is going to do. And so on 2nd down, 2nd and 8, I'm like, am I going for it if it's 4th and 1 or 2? Yeah, probably. So that you call that way on 2nd, you call that way on 3rd down. Yep. 3rd and goal from the 4, I'm like, if I know I'm going for it, maybe I'll run a draw. Right. Maybe I score, maybe I get to the 1, but then I'm going for it. So I feel like they do that more. They kind of have it in their head of how they want to do it. And hey, Kellen, you got 4 downs here.
That's right. But they even like on 3rd and it's 3rd and short. They're running up to the line of scrimmage real quick, try to get this, just to see what they have. And
does that ever work? That like rush. I don't ever feel like that works.
You know what it does, though?
That was a hard count.
What does it do?
It does put the defense on its heels a little bit to start to think, okay, I can't bring people in, but different personnel in. Okay. So now it's 3rd and 2. I usually get my big boys in. Now I can't do that because they're up to the line really quick. So now I got to be set. Now I'm showing you what I'm in.
Yeah.
Now Dak gets a good picture of it. Looks at the sideline. They figure it out if they want to, whatever they want to do. But I don't have a problem with them. Even on 4th down, you just sort of know if it's 4th and 1. They may just run up to get up there and snap it or try to hard count. It keeps you on your toes all the time as a defense.
Now, let's go ahead and take an early break. When we come back, we're going to talk not necessarily penalties by these refs specifically, but just penalties overall, especially in the O-line of this Dallas Cowboys offense.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to the break.
Join the official fan club of the Dallas Cowboys presented by Globe Life or upgrade your membership between October 21st through the 24th. Get 30% off the pro shop purchases. Visit DallasCowboys.com/united.
Welcome back to the break. Today we got Isaiah Extend back here with us and Derek Woodson.
Hold on.
What's up?
Derek's usually here. It says it's episode 43. This is a big deal. Fans care about this. Episode 43, and we do a former Cowboy player. Hold on.
I'm sorry, we have special guests here
I
today.
understand.
We don't have time for
but
that.
if one of the players actually that I picked
You're
played for
picking him.
okay, 43. Couple of Ring of Honors, Cliff Harris and Don Perkins, but I'm going to go with Izell Reese. Izell Reese is my 43. Sensabaugh was up there, but I'm going with Izell Reese. He's my number 43. Sorry to slow down the show. I know.
I'm sure there are some fans that enjoy that,
there are fans all the time like, what happened to 40? What happened? Did you do Bill Bates or McRae? Which one? And I was like, both. We did both. So
I see an Elvis Patterson.
Elvis Patterson, 43.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt, 43. But when we did 28, it was like, I mean, is there anybody else? I was like, yeah, Felix Jones.
Yeah, Felix Jones. He was
you
a
okay
bad
with
boy.
Malik Hooker wearing 28?
Man, I have a problem with it, man.
And,
No, honestly,
sorry, I'll ask you off the air.
honestly.
I'm sorry to put you on the air like that. Yeah, you're gonna say that. No, but it was surprising.
No, seriously, I
it was
don't have a
surprising to
problem.
me because they don't usually put safeties in 28. I mean, they might running backs and stuff like that, but I mean, I hadn't seen a lot of safeties.
Yeah, that was the only one that was available. Was either that or 45, and 45 was ugly. 45 is my first
wore
game
45.
preseason. Yes, first preseason game I was wearing 45, and I was like, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
Were you 86 the whole time?
Here, yeah.
Here, and then you went. I'll tell you what. When you signed with the Patriots, Bill Belichick signed you as a quarterback. Everybody here was like, "Oh crap! What did we just waste a quarterback?" Because Belichick just got him as a quarterback. What were we doing the whole time? So
yeah, crazy times. Crazy times.
Can't believe they beat him yesterday. Honestly, I mean, and that's who they beat.
Yeah.
They didn't beat any of those players. Those players are decent guys. He doesn't have a lot of squad. They beat him, and I mean that's impressive. They've never done it before.
Well, let's talk about some mistakes. There were several yesterday, but putting aside the whole refs situation, putting aside those, Cowboys still made some mistakes on their own, so that was on them. Now, if we're looking to clean up things, and to me, my main concern right now is that O-line that could be the one really affecting this offense in general. What should the Cowboys or fans be worried about this concern, specifically some of those mistakes that they're making? Veteran guys making mistakes that they shouldn't be making.
I don't think it's. I mean, you say shouldn't be making. I mean, those guys are professionals as well, right? And those guys are big and strong. We knew that going into the game. Their D line, their front seven. I mean, they're always going to be big and physical in New England. That's what they're built off of. So they had their hands full. Those guys are going to be relentless. So our offensive line just got out of position. Sometimes you see Biadasz get kind of thrown around. These guys are stronger than him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just being out physical. You're going to face guys like that. When you face Aaron Donald, guess what? He's going to be quicker than you, right? It's just certain guys like that. So you have to be able to either scheme those things up or dig your heels in the ground and figure out a way to put yourself in position to hold them off long enough to not put yourself in a bad position. But we saw a number of times there was just blatant holding. Oh my goodness,
yeah, it was. Connor Williams basically. Grabbed the dude by his back. But, look, again, you just said it, man. Like when you get beat sometimes, you got to do whatever it takes. There were a couple calls, though, on Tyron that I just couldn't understand. Like, really? Like, they weren't that obvious of calls. I mean, some of these calls happen all the time.
Well, these defensive ends are just learning to put their head back and make it look like, he must be getting choke slammed here if his head's back
it
like
looked
that.
Like choke slammed.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Learning from soccer.
Exactly. Yeah. But flopping.
Yeah.
But you can't. Honestly, when you look at what they look like up front, there were times in this game where they were getting beat. They just did whatever it took to keep them off of Dak.
Yep.
But again, at some point they're going to start playing better teams, and as the season prolongs, and then they get in the playoffs, they got to play better. We got to find a way to eliminate the flags because it's obviously hurting this football team.
Yeah. I mean, and it was one of those games where you got to kind of – every game has a life of its own, and I felt like this was one where you have to adjust to it. I mean, Connor Williams got to adjust. I mean, 3 weeks ago, this may not have been a holding penalty. Maybe they don't call that, but they're calling it here, and they let them know early they were calling it. I mean, I was like, the Cowboys are up 7-0 here, and it's not on the scoreboard. It's the dang penalties. It was 7-0.
Yeah.
Like, turn it around and figure it out. I was surprised that this 2-3 Patriots team that can't beat anybody, that was worth or crap at all, but they're so disciplined and they haven't committed a penalty. I was like, certainly it's going to even out here at some point. And it did. It evened out. It took a touchdown.
I mean, exactly. There was a play earlier on in that game where I think someone got face mask. One of the Cowboys,
Anthony Brown,
grabbed the face mask and they didn't call
right
that.
on their bench.
They called a PI on Jackson. That was not a PI.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it was back and forth.
Oh, the one down the goal line?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was great defense, but hey, it worked to our advantage. So.
That's true.
It's so freaking annoying because it's like, okay, it did work. At the end of the day, the Cowboys won that game.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you go back to there are so many other games where we constantly keep talking about refs and this is not well balanced and all that. And I really don't know how you fix it, because if the Cowboys lost that game, I mean, how freaking upset would you be today based on everything that happened? That was absolutely unfair and uncalled for.
So, I mean, to that point, I mean, just what Woody was saying, that's when you're playmakers, right? And that's when you see the grit and the character of this team. When you got your dogs that show up, and Gregory, right? They get a call on Gregory, or their lack thereof call, and he comes back the next play. He's like, "All right, you ain't gonna call this. All right, watch this." Right? I'm just gonna run through this dude's chest, right? That's what he's talking about when he says the dog, right? He just turned it on. Right, you got Diggs up there, turned it on. You got other dudes out there, Cedric Wilson, turn it on. Right, Gifford, where the heck Luke Gifford come from? Yeah. I'm about to make a play. I'm coming up the middle. I don't know how he got through there, but guess what? I'm gonna make a play. So that's how you overcome those things. There's gonna be games where you're just not getting the call. Every single one of us who played have had those games. We're just like, oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those. Yeah. Right, and that's when you have to look at your teammates and be like, all right, we usually have to ball out. Yeah. We got to just make it so indisputable that these guys can't call anything, right? And that's what you saw happen yesterday. Guys took over the game. Playmakers stood up. And it wasn't always the guys that you always talk about that show up on our doggone highlights.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Luke Gifford. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to special teams, and because we have not been talking about
I would have never, in a
special
million years, I would have never have thought the Cowboys would have blocked a punt yesterday.
Really?
Because when you look at just look at Belichick throughout the years, man. They always win that phase of the game.
Yes, they do.
And that's one part of the game that you know that, well, chalk it up. The Patriots are going to win a special time. And it was surprising that they got the block, but not only that, but it was like back and forth. As far as special teams was concerned, man, this one leveled out. This was an even matchup.
Yeah, I started laughing because I was like, a couple weeks ago when we went for the pump block, and we got a penalty. Everybody was like, "Oh, how dare Faso call that?" I said, "Ain't nobody gonna say that now.
Right?
Ain't nobody talking about that calling the pump block now."
And because that happened, it's like, well, and everyone thinks this guy is kind of weird and he's out there and all that, talking about John Fossil, but their special teams they've played well. I mean, very quiet as it's kept. Their punter is good. I mean, Brian Anger is a good punter, and I've said this before. And I said it on I wrote an article, our 5 plays to remember. The overtime won the game. I mean, when they lost the coin toss, I actually looked over at Rob and Dave, and I said, this is actually a good thing because they'll get the ball. They're not going to go 70 again. He's already done it once this month. He ain't doing it again. So you get the ball. I mean, they get the ball. You get the wind. They get a first down. They punted it. I mean, they're punting at the 46-yard line. That should be a fair catch at the 8. Pin them back. Got it to the 20. It was the wind. So Cowboys come out at the 20. They're in great shape. Go 80 yards for the touchdown. I mean, that right there was, I thought, a huge play in the game because the wind. It wasn't like a dust storm, but it was noticeable.
It swirls in that stadium.
Swirls.
For those that never played in there, they have one opening in that stadium.
Yeah.
And that air comes in there and it circulates, and it sometimes it exits, sometimes it just stays in that joint. But it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on our final break, do you want to just go ahead and ask Darian again that question?
Oh, well, what I was talking about facing good teams down the stretch. They got 11 games to go. And so we still feel like this is relatively early in the year. As it stands right now, based off of what we think we know about the league, there are 2 teams on the schedule that you would call good. And one of them isn't actually playing well, but they're the Chiefs.
Yep.
And they got Mahomes and Randy Reed, and it's going to be a tough game. You know that's going to be a tough game.
Yes.
I think that we can call that's a good football team. They've been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
Right.
Arizona's undefeated. After that, who would you say is like, that's a good team?
Well, I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Well, I'm just saying look at
you,
Isaiah.
Well, that's that quarterback mentality.
But
quarterback wide receiver.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that they're not going to get beat because they could got beaten yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm still looking at, if I'm just looking at the games right now, like the Broncos up until the last couple of games have played extremely well, right? Then I'm looking at the Vikings. They still have to go up to Minnesota to win that game, right?
I'm not talking about the tough environments. I'm talking about good teams. Because I think Minnesota's decent right now. They're 3-3.
But you never know how things start to play out.
I get it,
guys. Teams get healthy.
I know,
and all.
And I understand.
This is your problem, Nick. You already want to overlook everyone.
No, I'm not overlooking.
This is not the SEC or the Pac-12 or whatnot, where you have some.
Why are you putting those 2 conferences in the same sentence?
You're an Arkansas guy.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just saying.
Bad year for us over here.
He's asking
you to find the Vanderbilt right now.
Yeah,
okay?
find that Lamar University. No, I just think that every week's going to be a challenge. But still, because this is still a young team. The other part of it is, how long are the Cowboys going to stay healthy? They're at the quarterback position, the number 1 position right now. There's some question marks now, right? So, I'm looking at the schedule. I could care less about who they have coming up, who might be a tough one. My concern was, can I stay healthy? Can we continue to get better? And can we win the East? That should be the goal.
That's number 1.
But my point to that is, I'm not overlooking anything. My point is that they're going to face some good teams and all that. They are the good team.
Yeah, they are.
They are the good team.
Yes.
They are probably better than every one of those teams, except for maybe Kansas City. We'll see about Arizona at the end of the year. But they're playing great right now. But I'm just saying, they are an elite team, and we kind of keep waiting for, when they come to town or when he comes to town. It's like, no,
it's not.
They face the.
Isn't that what we want to see now?
Of course.
Like, we've gotten to the point to where the expectations for the Cowboys were early on. I was like, I'm not sure. Now we're like, oh my God, this is like one of the best teams in the league. Now the expectation is, okay, I can't wait for Mahomes to come in to really test this team, right? So that's when you know you have something special.
It's so hard to have that kind of mentality. Like even now, it's like, okay, I don't want to get too comfortable. I don't want to feel too confident because you've been hurt so many times as a fan watching these games that even now it's just a hesitation to be like, okay, this is really happening? This is really happening.
Here's going to be the problem with the fans, because they may drop one to someone, right? Maybe Washington. Maybe they get to go to New York next time, and New York thumps them. Right? It's a part of it. I remember being having a Super Bowl caliber team. I told you this before. The Los Angeles Rams back then, or the Los Angeles Rams came to town, and I think they won 2 or 3 games that year. We were a Super Bowl caliber team. They came into Texas Stadium and thumped us.
It'd be like that.
It's like that sometimes.
What was the score?
Oh, it was a close game. But they were terrible.
Yeah.
They were terrible. It's just sometimes, man, it's like they always say, any given Sunday, man, if you don't come up and you ain't on your toes, things happen.
You know why they lost that game?
Why?
Charles Haley didn't play.
Oh. I don't remember that.
He didn't
That's
play.
the only one guy was out.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, he was playing great that year, and then I think he didn't play in that game, or didn't play a lot in that game, and he lost to Jim Everett and the Rams 27-23.
Yeah, 27-23.
I think I was at the game. I was at the game.
Really?
I was a young kid. But 95, he went 12-4. 95, he went 12-4 and won the Super Bowl. Lost to the Redskins, because that's what they were called. 4-12. They beat y'all twice.
Yeah.
It happens in the NFC.
It does.
It happens. So
take care of your business.
Yeah, take care.
All right, well, let's take our final break. When we come back, we'll just keep this conversation going, but without Darren, because he got to bounce.
Hey, Darren, we appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the invite.
I mean,
sitting there just waiting upstairs, just waiting on the call. Just waiting on my call.
Right.
That's all I've been sitting there waiting on my call, man.
One thing I know about you.
Invite your boy.
I'm waiting on a call back. Yeah. You don't even call back your own family.
You're breaking up. I'll see y'all.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to the break.
Hey, Cowboy fans, be the first to receive new offers, event information, and more when you sign up to receive text messages from the team. Text Cowboys to NFLDAL. That's 635-325 to receive 10% off your Pro Shop order.
All right, welcome back to the break. Earlier on the show, we kind of talked about Dak's injury, and we're still kind of standby waiting on what's the status and update on that. But let's talk about Tyron Smith a little bit. I mean, he did return to the game. Earlier on, he had been dealing with neck injury earlier
ankle.
in the week, and then now we got the it was
the ankle,
yeah, because Dak is the calves,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I talked to him. I talked to him after the game.
What did he say?
I did think it was funny though. Did y'all see on one of the field goals that Zerline was like a 45-yarder, and he was about to kick, and all of a sudden this guy, you see him running like in the end zone of like it's Tyron Smith. He's just like running back onto the field. So
so to not be overlooked. That's the difference in culture. As we talk about, Darren said this team wouldn't have won that game last year. It's so true, and when I use the term culture a lot because it's important. Last year, he probably would have just stayed out.
You think?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Come back for what? Like, what am I missing out on? Right? I'm saying, I mean, it doesn't sound good. I know it doesn't sound good, but I'm just being transparent with everybody.
That was, what was that? Where were they at in that game, at that point when he got out?
In the game?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like third quarter, it was like 17-14. I think the field goal made it 20-14.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking just to the fact that some guys get hurt. Everybody gets hurt, right? But when guys get injured, it's like, if I can come back from it, sometimes, depending on how the situation of the game is, a team, guys are like, yeah, I'd just rather not. And then there's times where you have a team like this where you want to, like, I'm missing something. Like, let me get back out there. Let me go help because I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure I make a contribution to this team. And I think that's what you're seeing with these guys. If guys can go, guys are trying to hurry up and get back on the field.
I'd like to respectfully disagree on that because of Tyron Smith.
I don't know him personally. I don't know him personally. Yeah.
He'll go
last
there.
year exactly. It was week. I mean, he missed 2 games in a row he's battling with a neck injury. Then week 4, they're 1-2. They go play Cleveland. He said, I'm playing.
Yeah.
He plays, locks it down, probably grades out as good as anybody, then has neck surgery and he's out. He didn't play. I mean, he played great.
Yeah.
He probably felt like crap, but he still gutted it up.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you're saying. I think he's an exception to a rule because I don't really know if he's a human. I mean, I think he might be a robot, honestly.
Yeah, and I can't speak to him in particular, but I'm talking about just in general.
But him. But I get your point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that whole. Remember Ricky Waters? There was that famous play when, why didn't you dive for the ball? And he said, for who? For what? You know, and he said that. It was his famous quote. But it's like that. It was like, for who? For what? What am I coming back for? What am I? Because this is what happens. People forget this stuff. People want to say you make millions. Everyone's a millionaire. To fans, everyone's a millionaire, which they're up there. But they're but they think, hey, you got to give it all out all the time. Even if Ronnie Lott played with a broken or his finger got cut off, I get it. But you know what also happens when you go out there in a contract year and you play okay, but you're hurt, you're banged up, you don't look good.
Mess up your future.
Now you put bad tape out there too. So now you're like, well, is he really have it anymore? Is he retired? Is he still? Yeah. So there's a lot of factors involved with playing with injuries and stuff like that. I mean, I remember DeMarcus Ware fought through a whole season, and all of a sudden it was like, well, he's done. He's washed up. Look at him on tape when he was playing through stuff. Yep. I think he did okay in Denver, from what I remember.
Perfectly fine.
Got a ring.
50.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about the defense in general, and pass defense, run defense, a defense that's like bend don't break type of defense. Just want to get your overall thought and opinion so far with this kind of defense that we're seeing that Dan Quinn has been able to start converting and turning into something else a lot better than what we had last year.
I like it. I mean, they are what I personally expected them to be, which is fast, physical team that's playing their roles, and he's putting his guys in position to be successful. I think yesterday we faced what were probably our weak spot, right? And obviously we expect that out of New England, but they out-physicaled us in certain aspects of that game. And I think that any teams that have that type of personnel that can have that authority over us, I think they're going to definitely try to highlight that. They're definitely going to go back, watch that film, a circle that say we can out-physical these guys up front. Obviously, we're not at full steam. We're missing 3 dogs up there. We're missing Gallimore, we're missing D-Law, and Hill hasn't came back yet either. But I think we get stronger. But I think if there's one area where teams can really just hand us the business, and I think is if just utilizing their pure size.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, because you have to give up something. We talked about it 2 weeks ago with like Carolina. Their defense is super fast. Well, if that's the case, can you just run them over?
Yeah,
and then we did. So you gotta play. You gotta find ways to do both. I think what's been so impressive is the fact that Micah Parsons can play so many different roles, but you got to remember to be able to do that it means you got to be able to learn different roles, and also it means other guys have got to switch too. And I think it's been a real impressive how they're utilizing him. And yesterday I did an interview with him after the game. He wasn't happy. I think he feels like he needs to be making more plays, and not like mad at the coaches or anything, just mad that he didn't play a better game. And so usually rookies, you get excited. They get the win. It's a big win. Yeah. And he wasn't satisfied at all. So I think it'll be a good thing for him.
But you don't want to be that. You don't want to be the guy on the outside, looking in, talking about I didn't make a play. Seemingly everybody else is making plays, and from him, all he's ever known is being the guy. Even in college, obviously he was the guy. As soon as he came to the NFL, what was he? He was the guy, right? Everybody's talking about all the plays he's making, how versatile he is, and then all of a sudden he has a game where I'm just sitting here watching everybody else make plays,
Well, as long as you're not the guy that we're talking about in a bad way, like, oh, look what he did, look at that missed tackle and stuff like. I mean, at the
but that speaks to his competitiveness.
Games like that.
That speaks to his competitiveness, though, right? He wants to be the guy. He wants to have an impact. He wants to make a contribution to this team. And when you're playing on a team, you want to make sure that you make a deposit, right? What did I do that helped that assisted in us winning this game? Because if you're just out there just doing your assignment, okay, I don't do anything really great. You feel in your head, you're like, they're going to bring 10 guys out next week to try out for this team.
Right.
They can just swap me out for one of these guys. Not to say that Parsons that guy, but that should be your mentality. So you want to always make sure that you have some form of an impact on the game. That coach can put the little laser on the screen and say, yeah, great job right here.
Right.
And if you feel like you walk away from a game and you didn't have that moment, it's going to eat at you.
That's good. We haven't always had that.
Yeah.
And I know that when we're talking about linebackers and people that, what kind of mood that they're in after the game. I mean, we had a guy here, it's no mistake. Jalen Smith, people didn't like the way he carried himself, win or lose. His perspective, I'll say this, his perspective on life was different than others because he was laying face down on the turf saying that you'll never be able to play again, and you lost all this money, and he was able to get back and he used that perspective to get himself back. So I don't know. I mean, it always kind of went against him. I get it, and he was annoying at times when he did that. I get it. I also saw a couple plays in the up at the press box yesterday. Oh, look at him in space. Oh, look at him with the Packers. I saw memes going around now. I didn't see Leighton Vander Esch with that meme. I mean, Leighton Vander Esch made the exact same play or did not make the exact same play. Linebackers in space, I mean, when does it usually work for them? You know what I mean?
Not those kind of linebackers.
Not those, yeah, you're right. Not those, that's a good way.
Those are in-the-box linebackers.
Yeah, and clearly, and he was out of the box and out of the play. But I'm just saying, it was funny how it was like going around looking at Jalen Green Bay, and I'm like, you think people are saying, did you see Leighton in Dallas? I mean, it happens. It happens to those guys.
Well, do we have to go?
Yeah,
do we still have time?
So okay, so tomorrow's the official media mashup here. Not media mash, but our what are we calling it? Our podcast shuffle. What are you on? You're usually on.
I'm usually on Talking Cowboys.
What are you on
tomorrow I'm with Derek, and I'm on the break with Derek and Jesse tomorrow.
And are you on tomorrow too, Amber?
Yeah, Amber's on, I believe.
On there?
And Amber, you're on there too?
Okay.
That's what. Yeah, it was on the list. It was on the list. I don't know. You might have
like it.
I'll put it down on my schedule.
Let's go. You're recruited. There you go. That just happened.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hanging with the boys.
Oh, okay.
With Barry Church and Shannon and Kurt Daniels. So
how we usually do it during the bye week. We mix up the podcast, the crew, and just have a little fun.
Yeah.
During this
I've never worked with Barry Church, so I'm excited about it.
Just remind him that I'm faster than him.
Oh my! I'm not getting involved.
Just remind him. Just remind him. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna take the Rob
Chris
Phillips.
can play the clip on the show.
Rob Phillips is like, it's never going to happen, so stop talking about it.
All right. Well, that's it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This has been The Break on DallasCowboys.com radio I always mess up the goodbyes. Radio, but you say everyone's name. Nick Kidman, Isaiah Stenbeck, Darren Woodson, who's no longer here right now, and then Amber Garcia. Sorry for this crappy ending, but this has been Cowboys Break on DallasCowboys.com radio. Oh, God.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.